Hello, my friends. My name is Harold, and welcome to the Sanctum. Now we're going to move on to the next zodiac sign in the series, which is the sign of Gemini. And once again, as I've started every video on this series on the zodiac signs, when I'm talking about the zodiac sign of Gemini, I'm not necessarily talking about you. If you're born in that period of time where the sun is in the sign of Gemini. So if you're a sun sign Gemini, I'm not necessarily talking about you. I'm essentially talking about the archetypal nature of Gemini, the archetypal energies of Gemini, although you may identify with some of them. So, first of all, Gemini is associated with the twins. Okay. And you can see now from in comparison to the two signs before this, which was Aries and Taurus, which is the ram and the bull, we're now moving from the depiction being an animal of those particular signs to now being a human. So we are now moving into the realm of language and communication, because Gemini is a sign associated with language and communication. Of course, there's two, they're twins. So of course, twins are known to have this connection, this ability to communicate, not just in terms of the physical word, but even some sort of energetic, intuitive, telepathic type communication between them. So this is the zodiac sign associated with communication and language. And that is what also creates the difference between the animal kingdom and humanity, because animals don't have language in the way that humans do in terms of verbal communication. So you can see now from Aries and Taurus being animals, we've gone into Gemini, which are humans, which use language to speak. And the elemental association with Gemini is mutable air. So as I mentioned, there is 4 elements: fire, air, earth, water. And each of these 4 elements in the zodiac signs have 3 aspects, which are cardinal, fixed, and mutable. And in the last 2 zodiac signs, Aries was cardinal fire, Taurus was fixed earth, and now we are in mutable air here in Gemini. And oftentimes you can look at cardinal, fixed, and mutable as the beginning, the middle, and the end. So the beginning, the creative essence of a particular element, the preservative essence of a particular element, and the destructive and catabolic nature, or the changeable nature of a particular element. That's why it's called mutable. So mutable air. And air is, of course, associated with thoughts and thinking. So there is a thoughtful nature to the zodiac sign of Gemini, because we are going into the mental realm, but also the intellect, right? Because Mercury is the planet that is ruled by Gemini. So, and of course, Mercury is the planet who is symbolic of, is the messenger. So Mercury is the messenger. Even in the actual orbit of Mercury in space, it's the fastest moving planet in our solar system. So it's the one who carries the message across the universe, across our solar system in that way. And in that same way, Gemini rules communication through messaging as well. And Gemini also rules short distance travel, whereas Sagittarius rules long distance travel. Short distance travel is ruled by Gemini. And because there are 2 of them, we are now introducing duality here in the zodiac sign. Duality, because there are 2. And also, for communication to take place, you need another. Right? So because there is polarity being introduced in this particular section, there is this idea that the Gemini energy can sometimes be two-faced, can be prone to swings or changes in moods. Rather than emotional moods, we're talking more about mental states of being, right? Um, and also because this is a very intellectual sign that is associated with communication, it's oftentimes it can, Geminis can be very talkative, right, and love talking and expressing through language, and are very intellectual in that way. And the negative aspect of Gemini is naturally with intelligence and the ability to speak, the word can be used to deceive, right, and lie. So the negative aspect of Gemini, and if somebody is a Gemini, I'm not saying that that's going to be the case, but this is the archetypal energy associated with Gemini. So there can be deception, as is just with Mercury as well. Mercury is known as a trickster, and of course Mercury is linked with Gemini, and it's also associated with thievery and stealing. Just like with intelligence, one can use that negatively to trick and deceive using words. So that is also an aspect associated with the energies of Gemini. And of course, Gemini also rules commerce, right? The exchange of goods in that way. Merchants, even the word merchant, if you look at the first four letters of the word merchant, it's got the word merc in it, M-E-R-C, which is Mercury, right? It's using that mercurial principle of exchange in that way. So Gemini is associated with the hands in terms of, all the zodiac signs are also associated with certain parts of the body or a part of the body. So the hands are associated with Gemini, and of course, once again, it's that aspect that's dual. We've got two hands, but not only the hands, but also the lungs in our body, and even the lungs, we have two of them. And what do we use the lungs for? We use the lungs to breathe air, mutable air, right? And with that air is what we need to speak and communicate. Because without the ability to breathe using our lungs, we won't be able to speak. We won't be able to communicate using verbal language. So you can see now how Gemini is also associated with that. So it's not just physical communication, verbal communication. It's communication as the essence of something. So for example, even the communication between our brain and our fingertips to make my fingers move like this. My brain is sending messages through neurons to make this happen. That is Gemini at work in the body itself, right? So that particular energy is also there in the body. It's the communication between the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. That is Gemini too. So you can see how these zodiac energies are present in everything within ourselves and in the macrocosm as well. All right, and of course, Gemini rules advertising as well, because it's a form of communication that may deceive someone to purchase something from a merchant, right? So you can see that can be linked to Gemini as well. And then finally, the tarot card associated with Gemini is the Lover's card, which is associated with the Hebrew letter Zain, which can mean a sword. But it's not a sword that can just cut and divide things, but it's also a constructive sword that can put things together. So Gemini also has this ability to cut things, to analyze it, but also to be able to put it back together. So you've got this link to, this technological link as well, like this breaking apart to dissolve and to coagulate kind of aspect to Gemini as well. So that is an introduction to the archetypal energies of Gemini. And of course, one last thing, Gemini also rules technology, and of course that's also related to all of what I just said. So technology is computers, information technology, IT, software. All of this is also associated with Gemini. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and please subscribe to this channel and share it with all your friends who want to learn astrology. So thank you, take care, and I shall see you very soon. Peace.